You're listening to the Sales Success Stories podcast, where we deconstruct world-class sales performers to provide insights and strategies to help you improve. To learn more, visit us at top1.fm. Here's your host, Scott Ingram.
Thanks for listening to another sample story from the coming Sales Success Stories book, brought to you by Story Dimensions. More about them in a moment. We're making some really great progress on the book. As I record this, we've assembled 41 stories so far, which last week I assembled into a single consolidated Google Doc. If you'd like a link to that Google Doc, where I'll continue to add the raw stories as they come in, all you have to do is support the Indiegogo crowdfunding campaign and make a contribution of $50 or more. At that $50 level, you'll get a copy of the ebook, the paperback book, the audio book, as well as an advanced review copy of the paperback book, probably in September. So you'll get that advanced review copy, and then you'll get the official copy once we officially release and publish the book in mid-October. There are also options to buy multiple copies for your team. So to take advantage of any of those offers, just go to top1.fm/book, or just click on the link in the details section in your podcast player. Once again, I hope you'll help me support Story Dimensions, as it's thanks to their support that I'm able to bring you all of these special story previews. Story Dimensions is a SaaS sales enablement company. Obviously, I'm a big believer in the power of stories, and when I saw their offer, I was really blown away. Story Dimensions is the only solution that captures and packages real stories from your customers into easy to digest and deliver formats that salespeople can use to build credibility and trust with buyers. I'm so enthralled with what they're doing that I've actually taken on an advisory role with the company. So I encourage you to check it out. Go to storydimensions.com and request a live demo to see how Story Dimensions can help you accelerate sales cycles and close more deals. And now let's give a listen to Dayna Leaman as she shares one of her 3 stories.
Being Comfortable with the Uncomfortable by Dayna Leaman. Every Thursday morning, with a cup of coffee in hand and a determined heart, I would sit in my office and scan the job ads in the newspaper. Yes, the newspaper. Remember those things? And those of you that may not, it is printed in black and white and a wonderful piece of information that was printed daily. I had just left a career as a high school English teacher, and I really loved it. I was working as a trainer for a finance company at the time, and I was really unhappy. I saw the ad for a publisher's representative for John Wiley Sons Publisher that stated, helping teachers teach and students learn. I immediately fell in love. That was 17 years ago, and while my title has changed to account manager, I still have the same job and sell many of the same product lines and titles today. And while much is the same in the crazy world of publishing, much has changed. It is more bizarre, absurd, fun, and challenging than ever before. My greatest lesson is being comfortable with the uncomfortable. The lessons have been great and very tough. The uncomfortable lesson was a tough and sometimes very uncomfortable one to truly learn, many times the hard way. I have always been the kind of pick yourself up after falling many times type of person. As a kid, I worked so hard for all of my grades, and while public speaking comes naturally now, I had a horrible stutter and I was bad at math. I mean, really bad. Always. And in fact, I relished in the joy of the pain because I assumed that pain was a part of every learning process, of everything, and even developed it as a craft. Like John Mellencamp, fill in the middle name Cougar for those of you that grew up in the 80s, sings his song, Hurt So Good. The line is, hurt so good. Sometimes love don't feel like it should. You make it hurt so good. I played that song in my head a lot. And in fact, I naturally assumed failure was simply a part of every process. I have always been a hard worker, and I did more than what was always asked, and with a big smile on my face, and usually with a lovely, sarcastic joke for the ready. But nothing prepared me for this job. Nothing. I had years of retail experience where I managed people, but I was cursed at. I worked late painting stock rooms for a visit from a district manager just for them to pass through the back room for literally 3 minutes or less. Retail is a wonderful preparation for a high-level sales job of any nature. I suggest to anyone and everyone to walk in the shoes of service staff and those in retail. While retail therapy is a real thing, I assure you the therapy is only for the customer. I cherish my lessons learned with customer satisfaction and the lesson of failure and absurdity. I spent my first 2 years at Wiley literally holding my breath, feeling stressed out, confused, dazed, tired, and many times hopeless and fearful that they would fire me. Why? It was fast-paced, hard to even find and know your customers quickly, and the training program was literally baptism by fire. Academic publishing is a very confusing business and not the typical B2B sales role. So the question is, what kept me from going besides my first year not making my numbers and barely rising of the ashes for the second year? What kept me going? I felt lackluster and full of despair. Where did I go wrong? I was a teacher, a successful salesperson in the retail space, and then a trainer. I felt, though, this was my place to be at Wiley. Why couldn't I make this work? What was I doing wrong? I now know the answer. I simply did not ask for enough help. I look back and now know that I did not seek help fast enough. But remember, I thought that consistent failing was simply a part of the process. But now I was asked to meet a sales quota, and it mattered. There was more pressure and more demands than ever from my managers and customers. And most of all, I had something to prove to myself that I could do this job and do it well. My boss at the time did not really hire me, and it was his boss that hired me. My boss wanted to hire the woman who was the member of Mensa. Really? I could barely pass geometry in high school. He said that I was hungry, and I was, but I couldn't act as if I was hungry. I did give myself some time, but I didn't ask enough questions. And bottom line, I simply wasn't bold enough. Boldness was the answer. How did I recognize this? One of my customers said to me, "This is a very hard job, and I can see you will be good at it. Be patient and start being okay with the pace and know that this job will always be uncomfortable." Wow. That statement changed my entire attitude towards my job and how I perceived success and failure. I began to find mentors, to seek help, and I gladly sought help from the right people. And to this day, many of those mentors are in my life today. I'm so grateful to those people that took the time to help, and many of them were women. And I know why I have a sign in my office that says, "Chicks kick ass. Boy, do they." Don't get me wrong, many men at Wiley pulled me towards my success, but it was the women who climbed their way up and sought answers, like myself, that had the greatest impact on my vision of what failure means and what success means and how to be bold and own my success. Once I owned the success, I could cultivate it and keep it going. I now understand that consistent achievement is hard, but it is so worth the very uncomfortable climb. Today, I still own one of the largest and most successful territories in the U.S. at Wiley for their higher education group, and I have grown my digital market share every year in an environment that is full of turmoil and constant change. I have been actively engaged with training and mentoring new account managers for many years, and most of all, I'm blessed to work for a company that listens to the individual successful performers like me. I greatly understand the true importance of being comfortable with the uncomfortable, because that will never change. In fact, I'm very comfortable with that fact. My lessons learned. Understand your comfort and pain levels and what they mean to you. Seek help. Seek a mentor or a coach. It can save time and money. Be bold in your questioning and in your pursuit of working hard for your customers. Take the time to help others by training or mentoring, and give your time, and you will get far more back in return. Think about the company you work for and what they do. Do they give you purpose for your purpose?
Dayna has contributed 2 other stories to the book as well, one on determination and persistence and another on relationships. Again, if you support the pre-purchase campaign at the $50 or above level, I'll send you a link to that Google Doc where you can read both of those stories right away. Just go to top1.fm/book. Oh, and if you'd like to hear more from Dayna and you haven't already listened to episode 37, you should go back and give that a listen. Thanks again, and I appreciate all of your support of the podcast and of these sales success stories.
Thanks for listening to the Sales Success Stories podcast. To be sure you never miss an episode, and for an invitation to our sales success community powered by Influitive, subscribe to our newsletter at top1.fm.